Yo, 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 what is going on, IK Familia? It is your boy BN, aka Mr. Kingdom Builder, and today we are back again giving you some more of that high quality IK goodness that you enjoy and love so much. Wink. Now, this video is actually going to be covering an update to our KvK 2 preview video, right? So, we have the level 1 passes that are actually going to be opening shortly, and shortly as in soonish, so to speak. And just to give you an idea, even though I probably just should have zoomed in a little bit there, we'll find one shortly, and bam, you're going to be able to see here that the level 1 or zone 1 gates, adjacent gates to other zone 1 territories, are going to be opening up here in a little less than 2 days. Now, in today's video, we are mainly going to be going over, no pun intended, and no for double usage there, going over just some stats on each of the KvK 2 groups. Before we get started, as always, if you guys are enjoying the content and you love watching more, make sure you sub, like, ring that notification bell. And of course, if you want to join our Discord, you can find a link in the description and pin comment down below. Okay, so we're going to be starting off with each group, and I'm actually going to be showing you some stats that we've taken, along with showing you some in-game footage as well, right? So currently, we are in the KvK group number 1, right? And this is comprised, and we'll show you here, of server 3, 28, 18, 25, 26, 1, 13, and 24, right, in their respective positions. This is how the map looks so far. Now, the stats here for KvK Group 1 is that you can see 4 active servers, right, as far as having cities captured, right, being 26, 13, 25, and 28. Now, it should be noted, right, there's 56 cities that can be captured total across the map, right? You have 7 that are in each area, 7 times 8 because of the 8 kingdoms, right, brings you to 56. So for KvK Group 1, based on what we're seeing, right, we have pretty much 4 active servers here that we just named. The amount of cities that have been captured is 28 out of 56. So they're pretty much at a pretty much 1.5 ratio there, or half of the cities have been captured. So, and I don't necessarily think that this is, off-putting. When we looked at the KvK 2 group previews, right, for power, we saw 26, 25, 28, and 13 at the top, right, for their kind of active alliances. Their combined power were above the rest, right? And we're seeing here 26, we're seeing 13, we're seeing 25 and 28. So that pretty much goes in line with the data that we capture. And just to kind of briefly show you that as well, for what we're looking at, you can see this here on, right, these top 4 alliances out of the group that we ended up showing before. And so those are there. We look at some KvK 2 group progress here. Again, you can see we did take some more data, kind of showing you active, right, capable servers that have at least a few of the cities, if not more. And now we're actually going to go ahead and move over to KvK Group 2. And I'll have timestamps as well at the bottom for title cards, just to kind of help that move along a little bit more. So now that we've at least given you some prefacing information, now we'll be able to hopefully go through this a little bit quicker. Okay. So now here we have for KvK Group 2. And, ooh, really interesting. I haven't got this one in a while. Super nice. Thanks so much. Alright, so we'll go back to the map. And we'll start off just showing you the servers, and then we'll give you a little bit of some goods here. So for KvK Group 2, or KvK 2, Group 2 I should say, right, we have 4, 9, 2, 15, 17, 10, 19, and 11, right, again, all in the same timers for gate openings. And if we zoom out here, right, you can see a little different, right, again, we have 4 pretty active servers, right, in 4, 17, 19, and 11, but you're seeing, and I should say here, because they have 5 as well, and 9, right, and then you have 4, right, so a little more than half here in 2, right, they're actually doing okay, and you have 15 that, right, a little bit less. If we kind of shimmy our way over and we look at the group previews here, one of the things we'll be able to see for Group 2 is that, right, as far as top of the power, right, a little bit closer here, right, but you're seeing 19, 4, 15, and 9, right, which when we look at the board, you'll actually see, and we'll just head back there for you, right, you'll see 4 again because they were 2. You'll see 17, right, they were actually the 5th, and then you have, right, 19, 11, and 9. Right, now the interesting part here is that 11 is actually was the 7th total power, right, that you're seeing, but they have more cities captured, and I think for the most part, you know, in 9 and 11, it's just one alliance there, right? So they pretty much have, you know, kind of creme de la creme of, you know, all the idea buffs. They still have very strong players that are in those servers as well, even if it's only 1, 2 alliances. And so, again, right, but still interesting, even though they are a little bit lower when it comes to the alliance power rank, they were still able to get some more cities than, than, for example, 2 did, right, even though their combined alliance power is in a similar situation there. But they're working with, for their group, right, they've captured 37 out of 56 cities that they were able to in their zone 1, right. They have about 6 kind of active capable servers, right, with the exception of, you know, 15. Sure, they did get a few, but, you know, you want to be able to try and at least get, you know, I'd say around 5, you know, give or take. You know, 4 I think is okay, probably at minimum, because that's at least more than half of the Zone 1 cities. But then you still ended up having server 10, right, that just hasn't been able to get any so far. So we'll be interested to kind of see how these matchups play out once the gates open. I'm going to try and give you guys some information, or I should say footage, if we're able to try and line that up beforehand. Now we're going to go ahead and take a look at KvK Group 2, or KvK 2 Group 3, I should say. We're going to load up our S5. It kind of did take me a little bit of time to level up the accounts because I had to get them to 15 for these ones, which, even though it did take a little time, actually didn't take as long as I thought it was going to, so that was nice. Okay, we'll go ahead and back out now. I will show you here KvK Group 3 in the 2nd season. Okay, awesome. So we're going to go ahead and zoom out there. And just being able to see now, right, a little bit more activity, right? The most that we've got so far is 37 out of 56 cities, right? KvK Group 1 in Season 2 was 28 cities. And then here, right, you're having, again, 23, right, that is active. 7, right, at least able to get 4 cities. We got 6, who was able to get all theirs. 27 got 5. We have server 5 that got all of theirs. 22 got 2, no pun intended. 33 ended up getting all of theirs, right, and 37 got 2. So every server here at least has 2 cities or more. And that's probably going to be the most, if not give or take about, from what we'll see going forward as well. But in this KvK group, there's actually 41 out of the 56 cities that have been captured, right? So this is the most so far, right, going into the 3rd group. And even if you just look at the powers that we ended up seeing for this group, right, one of the things you'll be able to notice is that in the 3rd group here, right, you can see kind of 6, 33, 23, 5, right, kind of at the top. And when we look back at the servers, right, you have 23, you got 6, you have 5, and you have 33, right? This rounds out your top 4, and they're the only servers currently, right, that have 7 cities, right? So the power kind of correlates there. Well, again, will be interesting, right? Because again, most, you know, usually if you're capping a lot of cities, you know, you most likely are kind of setting yourself up to be in a better position, right? Because if you kind of cap the city sooner, right, it's more time that you're able to prep for when the Zone 1 gates open. Now we're going to go to Group 4 here in KvK2, and I think that's going to be using my 8 account. My little NASTi. Lil, because he's Lil. I don't know why I did that. It just came to mind. Okay, so here we go. Let's let this load up here for server 8. I should say for Kingdom 8. And then, again, we got 8 servers here in this KvK Group 4. So we'll go ahead and pop this open. And we'll start down here. Again, just kind of showing you the numbers. Right here for 4, we got 14, 21, 36, 8, 58, 16, 20, and 12. So we'll start here with 8. Right, they have 7. You'll see 36 has 6. 21, 7, 14 has 5, 12 has 7, 16 has 7, and then we have 58 that has 3. So in this group, the only server that doesn't have any cities is server 20. And we will just show you some initial stats for this one. And you can see here, right, that they have 42 out of 56 cities, right? So this is the most so far, right? And we'll get to some of the lower numbers as well that you'll be able to see. But even if we just briefly look at KvK 4, or excuse me, for Group 4 here in KvK 2, you'll see, right, the top is going to be 8, 16, 21, 36, right? And you see that also when we look at the map, right? You'll see here, even though 12 technically is the number 5, right, they were actually able to get 7 cities, and then you have 16, 8, and 21, right? So that's kind of the top 3. 36 wasn't, I think they're over here. 36, even though they got 6 or 7, still pretty close, right? But you have your top 5 essentially, excuse me, getting the most, right, outside of 14, which they're coming in at number 6. Right, and again, this is at like that 137 mil threshold power for the number 6 position there at server 14 or Kingdom 14, still being able to get, right? And so again, this group being able to get the most amount of cities so far, right? Again, hopefully I'll be able to get possibly some good PvP coverage, but just interesting to kind of see, you know, which servers are able to get however much they are able to when it comes to the cities prior to the Zone 1 adjacent gates opening. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and rock with, I think there should be 32 here, but oh no, excuse me. I was going to say it is totally escaping me right now. 31, okay, it was running from my face the whole time. All right, so here we go. We're going to load up 31. This is going to be KvK Group 5 for Season 2. Now they're a little bit lower, and we'll show you that briefly here in a moment. Once we do load up, all right, awesome. So here we go. We'll take a look and we'll show you this, right? So you have, this is for Group 5, or excuse me, yes, for Group 5, right? You can see here 42, 31, 32, 34, 53, 49, 51, 44. And if we look at the server again, right, you got 2 kingdoms here actually that haven't got any. And you can see here, right, 7 for 31, 5 for 42, 5 for 44, 7 for 49, 7 for 34, and then we have 5 for 32, right? And again, this group itself has 36 out of 56 cities that they were able to cap. If we look at some of the group numbers here for them as well, you know, we can see that there was, let me see here, we have 49, 32, 42, right? And this one is interesting because it actually is pretty close. I mean, this is what's, it is, man, sometimes looking at the data and then kind of looking at how many cities they capture kind of makes you wonder on, you know, maybe, you know, how much were the servers working together? Did they help each other out when they were going for cities or not? Some of the kind of internal questions, right, is a little bit harder to answer because we have to do a little bit more of a deep dive. But even if you just look at Group 5 here, you can see, you know, 226 to 319, you know, the gap isn't that wide. Even if you just look at the top 4, right, you got 282 to 319, right? It's about a 40 mil gap. That's not really big. And then the gap is really close between 5 and 6 here. But when we look at the map, you can see for yourself, right, only 3 servers were able, right? That's 49, 34, and 31. Yeah, so 49 being the number 1 or the strongest server in this group. But then you still have, excuse me, where was I looking at, right? You still have 31 and 34, which they're ranked 5 and 6 in the group, right, when it comes to alliance power, right? They're the 226, 239. The rest of them is 282 upwards to 319 for server 49. So there's a little bit of interest there. Maybe I'll have to do a little bit of a deep dive and see exactly why that is happening. Unless someone's there and you're watching the video and you want to give us a little bit of context, maybe they drop some cities, and I think that's something that could be happening as well with some of the city drops that we're seeing Or because I know some people have been saying that they've been dropping cities. Some people have just been recapturing cities for other alliances, right? So they could have tried to complete that Chronicle achievement to have the 12s already capped in order to push forward Chronicles. So it will be interesting if we're able to find out maybe exactly why there. Just because that to me, kind of on when I'm looking at the data versus the visual, right? That to me is at least one thing that stands out a little bit. Okay, so now we get to KvK Group 6. And here in number 6, we are seeing that actually, again, servers here capturing a lot. And so let's start, where's my account? And okay, we'll just go here. And this is going to be 30, I believe. So yeah, so 30 currently doesn't have any cities, but we go to 46, they have 7. We do 35, they have 5. 7 for 52, 6 for 50, 7 for 56, 6 for 55, and then 7 for 40, right? And in this group, they have, for 6, they have 45 out of 56 flags capped, right? So this is the most so far that we've seen. Again, definitely can't wait to start getting a little bit more action going on there. Where am I going here? Yeah, let's try and maybe Speedy Gonzalez this along just a little bit more. But that's 30 for Group 6. Now let's take a look at Group 7. And this is going to be, I think, my 29. It is. Awesome. So we'll do that. And then see how this looks. It is really interesting, though, kind of as we go through each of the groups. And maybe we'll do like a Legion chat deep dive on each of the servers to kind of see like what's been talked about for the past day or so. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and pop out here for group. This is actually Group 7 in KvK2. And we'll just show you the numbers real quick here. Right, we got 63, 29, 82, 38, 84, 45, 48, and 54. So we look here, every kingdom actually has cities, along with the minimum here being 3, right? And we'll start here with 29. They have 7, 63 has 3, 54 has 7, 48 7, 45 7, 84 6, 38 7. We got 82 has 6. Now in this group, right, they actually have 50 out of 56 cities, right? So there's only 6 cities that were not captured, at least at the time that we were recording. And again, that's actually the most so far, beating out the previous group of Group 6, right, by 5 more cities capped. So you can make the argument, right, that this might be, right, the most active KvK group when it comes to just amount of cities captured, right, and active alliances doing so. Now, it could just, again, that could be one alliance or a few, but they do have the most amount of cities capped. I think that might count for something when it comes down to how activity might look in this KvK group. Right, it's a big one too because it's got the strongest server at 38. And so now we're going to take a look here at, I think we're going to KvK Group 8 now. And this one I have to, where am I at, 39, 39? I think I'm 39 here, yeah. So we'll open up 39 here, and we got this one, so 5 more groups to go. Awesome, so we'll back out of here. We're going to take a look. So this one I think is actually going to be a little bit lower once we pop it open. Yeah, so again, not a lot of activity you can see here for Group 8, but again, we'll kind of go by this one by one. So I'm in 39, right, doesn't have any cities captured. We got 59 with 2. That's the first. And then we have, here we go, another server with 0. We'll point them out in a moment, where we got 47 with 7, 70 with 4, 43 with 5, another 0, and then we have 57, right, with 7. The other servers here in this group, the 3 with 0 is 61, 41, and 39. All right, we'll briefly show that here, that you can see as we kind of go through. And in this group, there's only 25 out of 56 cities that have been captured. And if we look at Group 8, one of the things we'll notice is like there really is a pretty wide power gap that we pointed out in the preview, which is that you have 495 mil, almost 500 mil there for server 57, and then you got the big, pretty much 220 mil drop from 1 to 2, which would be next server 43, and then you have like 43, 47, 59. They're close in power, but then it drops again by about 130 mil from 5 to, or excuse me, from 4 to 5, which is from 59 to 61. Then you kind of get into the bottom 4, and I think that's pretty indicative here, because we have 47, 57, 43, and 70. Difference here is that 70 is actually the number 6 kingdom ranked as far as active alliance power with one alliance, and you have 57, 43, 47 is the top 3. So when you look at server 59, they have 252 mil power, right? But 59 only has 2 cities currently, right? And then you have 61, who is, even though half that, right, still stronger than, still stronger than 70 at 59, or sorry, excuse me, not 59, 61. And 61 doesn't have any cities. So really interesting, right, when you can kind of see how, right, some servers are able to capture more cities than others, even though they have close power. Now, yeah, there's going to be some asterisks, because obviously it depends on how, how strong are the top players there, right? How unified is the kingdom? Are they all kind of working together to capture? Are they just front loaded into 1 or 2 alliances, and that's where the bulk of their activity is, but for whatever reason maybe they're still not able to get it done, right? Those to me are like the really interesting questions to kind of find out and figure out why those things are happening, right, the way they are. All right, so let's move over here to group 9, and let me see here where I'm at. 43, 79, I think this is 62. It is. Awesome. So we got 9, 10, 11, 12, so 4 more groups if I can count some math. Alright, okay, so now we're moving on to group 9, and we will pop out to the map. Now, in group 9, a little more activity here, which, again, will be nice to see. And so we're going to take a look. We'll show you the group first. And for now, 62, 65, 64, 73, 75, 81, 69, and 68. So we'll start here top left, right? 62 has 1. 65, 7, 64, 7, 73, 7, 68 has 2, 69, 7, 81, 4, and then we got 6 here for 75. Right now, in this group, there's 41 out of 56 cities that have been captured, right? So still respectable. And if we look at the numbers here for group 9, one of the things we'll see is this group is actually a little bit closer, right? 73 is kind of the standout here because they are the strongest, but you have a really tight-knit race between 2 and 5, right? Which is 75, 64, 69, and 65. And if we look at these servers that have 7, right, that would be 65, 64, 73, and 69. So, which is interesting because 75 has 6, but 75 is the second strongest kingdom in the game. However, right, with the 64, 69, 65, right, that kind of brings us to the top 5, right, having the most, right? So this is kind of still in line with the groupings for the matchups and the powers for the active alliances that we are seeing. Okay, so we are through there. Now we're going to go to server 10. I think this is going to be, what am I looking at, 60? Yep. Awesome. Then I have 11 actually already loaded for you guys for the next group. And then that means we'll just go to 12 after, so we got 3 more we're going to take a look at. All right, so we'll pop out. And again, I think kind of showing you guys this, whether it's kind of weekly updates or every so often, right? I'm going to try and do all the gate openings if we can. And I'm going to work on trying to get into some of the active alliances, even if it's just seeing vision to kind of see how the fights are going. Alright, so here we go now. We're in Group KvK Season 2, this is Group 10, right? We got 83, 74, 77, 85, 76, 60, 80, and 66. So for here, right, you actually have some decent coloring that's going on, right? Some solid activity. And here, right, we're seeing that 83 has 7, 66, 7, 80 has 4, 60 with 7, 76 with 1, 85 with 7, 77 with 6, and then 74 with 7, right? Now here in group 10, 46 out of 56 cities have been captured, right, for the zone 1s, which again, still respectable. If we look at the groups here for 10, one of the things that we'll notice is, right, you got 2 kingdoms here in the top 25 with 74 and 66. And again, right, 66 here or 74 here, right? So again, both having 7. And the power actually for group 10 is pretty close, right? If you look at the top 4, power is pretty much within about 54, 55 mil. And then when you get to 5, 6, right, you have a little less than about a 10 mil difference, right? Then you have kind of the next drop off at 7, but more so at 8. So again, this group is a lot closer when it comes to that. But the kingdom at 76, right, they're actually lowest power, I think, because they just ended up having some people that migrated out going to 78. And again, even though they're coming in at about 100 power, almost 100 mil, right, for their one alliance, right, they still have at least one city. But again, it kind of reflects the rankings, the power rankings that we're seeing based on how many cities that they have, even though we've seen other kingdoms with one alliance that still has been able to do that. Again, part of it also kind of comes to what do they have left, right? How strong are the players, right? Those things will factor when it comes into how many cities are they going to be able to capture as well. Okay, so now I got 12 for you guys here, and this is going to be 67. So while that is loading up, we're actually going to switch over, and I'm going to show you KvK group 11 here, which is, here we go, awesome, yes, it's 79. Okay, cool. So here, you'll actually see in this group, right, again, really good kind of city participation, right? You're seeing everyone really getting involved here, and we'll show you the group numbers right now. So we have 95, 72, 91, 97, 88, 79, 98, 78, right? So you got Boss Baby there for 97, and again, if you look at the numbers here, right, 79, 7 cities, 88, 6 cities, 7 cities for 97, of course, 91, 3, 72, 4, 5, excuse me, if I can count correctly, 95, 7, 78, 7, and then you got 98 with 5, right? So out of everything, right, this is 47 out of 56 cities. Again, respectable for what we're seeing, kind of that average, right, for the active kingdoms. No one has been able to do everything yet, right? The closest that we've seen so far, right, has been the 50 piece there from KvK Group 7. That's with 38 and a few others there. And then if we look here, right, you can see even just from, right, the power differential on 11, and you look, right, kind of 79, 78, 97, right, are all there, right, kind of big gap, right, you get about 120, almost 130 gap between 1 and 2, which is 79 to 78, and then you have like this close grouping between 78, 97, and 72, which is like 2 through 4 in the alliance power rankings, or I should say the active alliance power rankings for servers. And usually, even if you just look at like 5 through 7, it's about a 65 mil power gap, right? I mean, lowest minimum is at 153 million, right, for this group. But you got 3 servers in the top 25 here. So it will be interesting to see how this one plays out. Okay, so we're actually going to go ahead now, and we will load up to the final group, which now I have to switch this over. Okay, awesome. So this is going to be for group 12. We're going to load this up right now. And group 12, you can make the argument, might actually be the most active, right? There's 4 cities that have not been captured yet, which means this would actually put them at 52 out of 56, which is wild, right? Now, let's take a look through the group real quick. And actually, since everyone has something, we can actually just probably count like this. So we got 7 for 67, 94, 90, 86, and 71, right? The only servers who don't have all 7, 96 with 6, you got 87 with 6, and then with 5, 99, right? So this is by far the most active that we're seeing so far when it comes to cities captured. If we look at group 12 from a numbers perspective, right, their weakest kingdom in the group, right, being 99 at about 175, 176 when we took the data, or when we had initially grabbed the data for the KvK2 previews, right, is still a great minimum, right, and the gap is a little bit smaller for this one when it kind of goes from 1 to 8. But even if you're just looking, and we'll briefly show this, right, for one of the reasons why we're kind of pointing this out the way we are, is if you look at the groupings just from the data we pulled, right, you can see here like 1, 2, and 3 all pretty close in power with 71, 87, 94, right? And then you kind of get to this 363, like a little bit of a middle ground, right? Because it kind of falls between 3 and 5. But then you have somewhat of like a decent pairing here, right? Between 7 and 8 and then 5 and 6, right? So again, the gaps are not that, widely high, so to speak, right? I mean, you got the standout true power guy here in 94, but outside of that, this group itself, I think these are some of the reasons why we're seeing, right, that level of activity when it comes to group 12, right, being the most active so far, right, if we're just kind of going off of the amount of cities that they've captured. So this kind of gives you the update before zone 1 gates open. I'm going to try and do another video after zone 1 gates open, and I'm going to work now just on trying to get access, whether I can put the account in just an active alliance, right, for these ones here, so that way maybe we're just able to give you guys a little bit of action. I'm not sure how much we're going to be able to see just because of the general vision, but we'll try and do the best that we can. Again, that's it for me. I hope you guys enjoy these kind of KvK 2, I should say season 2 kind of progress update videos, right? Let me know anything else that you would like to see. I'll be happy to cover it outside of kind of what I already have planned. And as always, hope you enjoy. That's it for me. Until next time, we'll catch you later.